In this video, we are going to build a lead gen RAG agent in n8n, and we will receive and send messages using WhatsApp Business. So here is what we are going to cover. First of all, we will see how to get the WhatsApp credentials and how to create an app in the Meta Developer Hub. We will create a super-based database for memory and documents. So don't worry, you don't need to be a developer here. That's just copy and paste, really. And the great thing about database is that we can actually use it for conversation memory and document storage, so vector store. We will create a file management system workflow, then we will create a RAG agent in n8n, and we will give it magic tools, we will give it magic powers. We will connect it with Google Solar API so that we can hook the leads into the conversations by giving them payback time and their money saving estimate over a period of time so that we can get them to book appointment with the sales rep. So let's dive in. First of all, you need to head over to n8n, so the cloud version or the self-hosted version, doesn't really matter. And then you will click home and you will create a new workflow. And when you've created a new workflow, you will click the plus button here and you will choose a WhatsApp trigger. So it only works with WhatsApp Business, so you need to have a WhatsApp Business account in place, and you will choose the on-message trigger. Once you've chosen the on-message trigger, you will double click on the node, and here, as you can see, there is a little pen on the side. So if you have not connected WhatsApp Business before, you will need to do it now. And here there are a couple of things that you really need to pay attention to. So I'll open the n8n doc, which you can follow step by step, and you will be able to get those credentials very, very easily. But there is something that you really need to pay attention to, is that when you are using the WhatsApp trigger, it uses the client ID and the secret ID. When you are using the node to send the messages, this is different. So it's also a connection, the same type of connection, but it uses an access token and the business account ID. So these are actually 4 different things. It's all explained in the documentation, but that's something that you really need to pay attention to. So to create the credentials, it's really simple. You need to go to the Developers Hub, and then you will click on Create an App. Here you're looking for another type of system, so you click that and then choose the business item. Here you will name it. I'll call this one n8n B2, for instance. I'll delete that afterwards. I could have selected the business profile. Here I'm going to need to give it the password. I won't save it for now. I'll just pause the video until it finishes loading. Right, so now it loaded. So I'm gonna head over to WhatsApp and I will configure it. Sorry, this is in French, but it's going to look exactly the same on your screen too. And here you want to do the quick start. At this stage, you want to head over to the app parameters. Just give it the confidentiality and the terms of service policies. Save it and then turn it on. And you will need this app ID and the secret key, and that's what you are going to use within the first authentication. so the one to receive messages. And then as a next step, you'll want to head over to the WhatsApp here, quick start. Start to use the API. And here you're going to have the access token, which you will need to generate. And you will also need to copy the WhatsApp business ID. You need to make sure that you have a phone number. So if you don't have one, you can just connect one. So you will need to connect it with a phone number that's not already connected to WhatsApp. And once you've done that, you'll be ready to go. So as a next step, you will want to so everything is now connected. So this is going to trigger when a message is received, and now we are going to build our AI agent. So this is going to be a conversational agent. We will be using Grok. I like Grok because it's very, very fast and it's cheap and the quality is amazing. So I'm using Grok. If you don't know how to get access to Grok, you just need to head over to their API documentation, and there will be a link where you'll be requested to get in touch with someone on Twitter, and they will open a paid account for you. The free account is actually quite limited, but the paid account is really, really good. Next, we'll want to create a Supabase database. So that's really, really easy. You head over to Supabase. So I'm just going to open up their website. You can go ahead with the free plan. You don't need to buy the paid plan. I'm onto paid plans because I use it a lot. But you can quite easily start with the free plan. So here you'll create a new project, and then you will click onto the project, and you will head over to project setting, database, and here you will want to connect the Postgres chat memory. So here you will just add a new, so this is going to look like that. So you just need to click on the plus button, choose Postgres, and here we are going to connect the Supabase. So at this stage, what we want to do is just to click on the pen and just copy and paste all of that, and then just make sure that this is all connected properly. Here, as you can see, this is not this is expecting a message, a default message. You need to change it to this is going to create a new memory from a conversation based on the phone number of the person. So if this person starts chatting again, it will lose track. Next, we will want to connect a tool, and I will explain that a bit later. So you just have to create a tool just like that. I'll name this one calculator. So this is actually the magic tool, the one that's giving me solar estimate data. We don't really need it for now. I will just focus on the vector store tool. And here you will want to create another tool, and that's going to be vector store. So here you just need to click press the plus button and just connect the vector store tool. I'll just connect it back. And here at this stage, you will want to create a vector store on Supabase. So again, you will use the credentials, but those credentials will be different. Those credentials are coming from the, so let me head back over into here. So these are not database credentials, they are the API credentials. So you need to use the API credentials here. And then as a next step, you will see that this is going to be, well, obviously you won't have database created at this stage. Or you will have database created, but you won't have the table created. So here you need to just click on the pen, open docs. and you're going to look for the Supabase vector store. And here, quick start for setting your vector store. And here you'll just copy the whole code here just by clicking this button. Then you'll head back over into the Supabase database and just click the SQL editor. I need to move this over there because that will prevent me from doing it. Paste it, run it, and here into the database section, table editor, you'll have documents. So this is what you need here. And everything is pretty much done for you. So it's really, really easy. Next, you will want to finish the actual vector store. So this needs embedding. So I'm using OpenAI, the text embedding 3 small, and so that's working really well. And I'm also using Grok to analyze the data. So here, obviously, when you are creating a RAG agent, you need a system to manage files. I won't go into that right now, but you need to create a workflow so that you can actually upload the files into the database and make sure that everything is learned properly. So here, this is quite big. We'll see that in a minute, though. So I'll just show you the rest of the workflow. So here, this is the magic tool. This is the one that's actually getting the data from Google Solar API based on the location, on the address of the person, and then giving real-time estimate of their payback time and estimated savings, and then answering to the lead with this data, and then requesting to book a meeting if they want to book a meeting, obviously. So I'll just explain the way it works. So when you are using a tool such as this one, you will name the tool. And so this tool is basically going to be called only if the description in here mentions the fact that this tool should be called for a specific purpose. And this is also something that we are configuring here. So when you are configuring the AI agent, this is going to be empty. So the human message is not going to be there, and the system message is not going to be there. So I'll just grab it, delete it, and show you how to add it. So here, just add an option, system message, and then here you need to make sure that you give it the right prompt. So this is a prompt that's working for me. It's really simple. And here for the human message, you don't have to touch it. The only thing that you'll need to touch or to change is the JSON message .text.body. And that's really important because that's the data that's actually the answer from the lead that we get inside the WhatsApp trigger node here. So I'll just save it because I've tweaked it a fair bit. So when you are adding a tool, the field to return is going to be a response. So that means the tool being called is actually a tool contained within the same workflow. I could have created separate workflow, but I've kept it like that for the sake of simplicity and so that you can see the whole process. But basically, this is the workflow ID of the same workflow. If I had a different workflow, this would be the ID of that different workflow. So the reason why this is so important is because the last answer of the workflow that's actually the tool that we are calling is the same than this one in the edit field. So that's really, really important. So let me just try it so that you can see how it works entirely. So I'll test the workflow here. I will send it a message. You can see that this is processing. And I've just received the message, and the message is actually really good. So I'll just show you what the message looks like. So the output, which is the message I've received on my phone, is the solar payback time period for your address is approximately 6.5 years. Would you like to schedule an appointment to discuss your energy saving options? So this is great. I'll just show you the execution here, so that you can really understand what happened under the hood. So that's the address. Then the address was used by the agent. The agent didn't have the answer, so the agent called the solar estimate tool. So the data being passed was the address. The address was actually converted into an address usable into an API. So this is using the geocoding option. So this is the address being passed in the API using this code. Then based on the answer we got from the previous node here, we pulled data, which is the solar estimate data. So let me just show you what that looks like in the execution. So that's the solar estimate data here. And we have so much data that we won't even need half of it. So we trimmed it and we just simplified it to output actually what we need. So the size of the roof, where is the house located, the estimated consumption, what's the recommended installation size, the number of panels, the solar production by year, etc., etc. The gain over 25 years, financial grants available. So basically we have everything we need to hook the lead into the conversation, and then this data is being passed into the aggregate node so that we have all the data available in one go and being passed into the response node. Then this response node passes the data inside the agent, which then sends the message into WhatsApp. So it might sound complicated like that, but it's not really, it's not. So that's the first part. The second part is to handle file management. And so the files are being handled by a different workflow. So to resume, this webhook is basically listening for incoming messages. Then this agent checks if the data is already available. And if it's not, it will call either the solar estimate workflow, which is connected very simply by using the same workflow ID as the current workflow, and you can find it in the URL here. And then this is processing the address, and then based on the address, it's pulling data from Google Solar API, analyzes the data, just summarizes it because Google is giving too much information, and we don't need all of that to hook the lead into the conversation. Then aggregates the data, and then puts the data into the field and the response field. And then once the data is available, sends the message to the current lead. Now there is something else that we need to talk about. So if the data is already available, for instance, we already have the solar estimate, but the lead is asking more questions. So this is going to pull data from the vector store tool. And so basically this is very simple. You only need to connect the vector store tool here. And we've already created the database. So what we need to do here is that we just need to make sure that the database is actually fed with documents. So to handle documents, we have this dedicated workflow. So that's really, really easy. When this is basically listening if a new file is created or if a new file or if a file is updated inside the Google Drive folder, then we just set the file ID to be the actual file ID of the file that has just been updated. We check if the file already exists, and if it already exists, we just delete it. Then we download the file, so it downloads the file into the actual n8n system, not onto your computer. And then it extracts the text document data. So let me just show you what that looks like. So I just need to find an execution where it actually happened. And so that's going to be this one, for instance. So here you'll download the file using the file ID that we've set in the set node, which was the second node, so this one. And here we just need to make sure that the Google file conventions are set this way. And here we have extract text document. And so here everything that was in the file is actually converted into a block of text. And here this is added into the superbase database, so into rows like those ones. So this file is actually very big, and I chose to have the content, to have a lot of content inside each row. And I've done that by just changing the chunk size here in the recursive character text splitter. And so I recommend you do that as well. Don't have them too small, otherwise you'll end up with so many rows you won't even be able to see what's in it. And here, so when you're actually adding the files, adding this node here, all you need to do is to make sure that this is obviously connected, and then choose an embedding system. So I'm using the OpenAI, so text embedding 3 small, but I could use small or large. Small is working well enough for me, so I'll just leave it as such. And here you need to download default loader document, so that's the one I'm using. And I'll just so let me just delete that. Load specific data, so type is JSON, and the file is split into chunks and then uploaded inside the vector store. So very, very simple, but very powerful. The possibilities are just endless. In just about half a day, I've created a whole system that's able to communicate through WhatsApp with leads, getting them to book appointment with salespeople by hooking leads into the conversation using real data from Google Solar API. And that's just a revolution. So if you've enjoyed this video, please smash the like button so it will keep me motivated to make more of those. And as usual, if you want to join the community and get access to these templates, just click the link below and you will be very welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.